Hey Sam,
Oh, here we are.
are you ready for your 73 questions?
Always, let's go.
I'm sorry it is a bit early, but
Nah, it's all right. It got me up early. It's good.
who are you then?
Hi, my name's Sam. Yeah.
And what's your degree?
So I'm actually a history and French student in my second year at Somerville College here at Oxford.
And what are you up to these days, Sam?
A bit of studying, a bit of basketball, a bit of work with organisations. It's a lot, but it's good.
You sound like a busy guy. Tell me about the most recent basketball season. How was that?
Yeah, so it was actually really good. We went 10-0 on the season. We got promoted to Div 1, and I actually got a full blue, which is essentially for competing at the highest level of sport at Oxford. So yeah, not too bad.
So if I'm not mistaken, I'm in the presence of greatness?
No, I promise you, the greatness is in the team. I'm just one of the players, man.
Wow, he's humble too. Why did you choose Oxford?
I think I chose Oxford because I really wanted to be stretched. So I really wanted to have quite a bit of a tough degree. I also came because I love the city. It's really nice. It's quite busy. It reminds me a little bit of like a very, very, very small version of London, and it's not a village like Cambridge.
I've never heard that before. A very, very, very small version. What else it reminds you of London?
Yeah, to be honest, when I say London, I basically mean that I wanted a city.
Yeah.
This actually is definitely not like London. London doesn't have this, but hey, there's pros and cons.
And are you still happy about your decision to study here?
Yeah, I'd definitely say yes. There are nights where it gets very busy and I'm a bit like, why did I do this to myself? But then I do the essay and then I'm like, it's all right.
Fair. So speaking about your workload, how many contact hours per week does an Oxford history and French student have?
I'd say about 6 to 8 hours depending on the week. So it tends to be that I'll have a few more for French than history. But yeah, a mixture of lectures, seminars and tutorials. All good.
Right, so Oxford is then famous for its tutorial system. How are tutorials different to classes for you?
Yeah, so essentially tutorials are 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 or 1-to-3. But essentially it's personal time with your tutor who is essentially a leading expert on their subject. And you really get to go into your essay, talk about what you've written, explore your ideas. It's great.
Wow, that's amazing. And how do then most people get around campus? There's a lot of bikes behind you.
Yeah, so that's very true. So a bit like this bike, normally you'll just cycle around. There are a lot of people who walk and it is a quite small city, so it's possible. But you can cycle around as well and it can be really fun. I'm in favour of cycling for sure.
Is that your bike then?
I wish. My bike is actually next to my room in college. It got amputated. I lost the wheel, unfortunately. It's a bit of a fallen soldier.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're kind of a history French student going on medic.
In another life, maybe.
Can you tell us what happened with the bike?
So basically I left outside of my college instead of in my college, which was a bad mistake. Opened my curtain one morning and there it was, a bit injured. Yeah, quite sad.
Sure. Okay. And how is studying history and French at Oxford different from how you imagined it?
Yes, definitely a little bit different in the sense that I have a lot of individual choice, I think. So I'd say that I was literally putting together my own degree, choosing my modules and really assembling it together, seeing what I wanted to do, which was really cool, but quite bizarre, I'd say, in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. And whereabouts are we now?
So we're actually at the Radcliffe Camera, or the Radcam as students call it. This is technically the history faculty library, but it's also what features on most of your Windows screensavers.
Yeah,
I've
definitely seen this one before.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you find yourself working in this library?
Yeah, I actually don't because I think working here is actually terrible. It's so quiet inside. Everyone seems really, really high strung. If you sneeze, everyone looks at you with death stares. I hate it.
Yeah, no, can't stand that one. How much homework do you then find yourself doing per day?
Homework. It's an interesting way of calling it that. That's basically my whole degree. But I'd say I do, let's say 6 hours on a good day, less on a bad day.
We don't need to, exaggerate. Is it really 6 hours per day?
Genuinely, I can't lie. If you want to do the work, you probably are doing something close to that.
Wow. Okay. And what's your favourite thing then about Oxford Uni?
Oh, my favourite thing. I think my favourite thing is the discussions. People here are so willing to talk about their passions, their interests, the world. It's amazing.
Ooh, give me a recent discussion topic that you had.
So one which I had, which was quite weird but good, was do aliens kind of contradict your view of Christianity? How do they fit in? Which was something I'd not really thought of much, but was a really nice conversation.
Ooh, and then what was your conclusion, Sam?
My conclusion. Hey, send me a message on LinkedIn maybe and I'll let you know.
Okay, now tell me about the worst thing about Oxford.
The worst thing about Oxford? Oof. I'd probably say it must be the fact that you have to move out every 8 weeks. So terms are only 8 weeks and after that you have to move out of the colleges, and that essentially means you have to get all of your stuff out your room, it's quite long.
How do you manage that?
So actually, me and the cameraman Molayo, you won't be able to see him, but we actually lugged all of our stuff onto a coach, which is called the Oxford Tube. It was long, but not a bad experience.
Wow, that honestly sounds extremely difficult. But
It
a
was.
story to tell.
Yeah.
Any Oxford stereotypes that we should know about?
I think one stereotype which is really key to break is the idea that everybody in Oxford's really, really rich. I think that's just simply not true. I think it's what actually happens is that colleges are very willing to provide money to kind of support your learning, support your kind of personal development, which is really good. And it actually means that regardless of how much money you have, I think you can come here and do quite well.
Oh, can you give us an example of where Oxford has really helped you out financially to do things like that?
Yeah, so you can really apply for travel grants. I've applied for one which will help me because I want to go into railing actually this summer, so I'm going to travel to a few different cities in Europe. And then also for my year abroad, I can get a lot of funding for that, which is really, really good.
Great. And any colleges then that you would recommend applying to, where should we avoid?
Oh, this is a controversial question. So I'd probably say the northern colleges are ideal. So like Lady Margaret Hall, Somerville, my college, St. Hugh's, and then also there's St. Anne's. They're really good colleges. Avoid some of the central colleges are just way too samey for me, and they don't really have that good a vibe, in my opinion.
Sam, are you just naming the northern colleges because you go to a northern college?
See, you might think I'm biased, but genuinely, well, actually, do check out Somerville College, just going to throw it out there. But I'd also say a lot of my friends go to northern colleges and they say that they have a really good experience there, so I definitely recommend them personally.
And what about representation at Oxford? How do you find that in terms of the collegiate system?
Representation is an interesting one. I'd say that the diversity here definitely can be improved. There's a lot going on to do that, but I think more can be done. I'd say that right now we're getting more and more each year, which is what really makes me happy. I do a lot of access stuff, so the hope is that we can kind of improve that as a whole and change things. But before we move on, I'm going to actually show you some of this. So this is the Bodleian Library. So it actually connects to the Radcam, which I showed you a little bit earlier. And this library actually has the right to every single book published in the UK. So if you're a book writer, your book might end up here.
Wow.
And there's also a tunnel which connects the two libraries together, so it's quite cool.
Oh, is that where the tour is going?
Well, the tour will not be going there because it's kind of exclusive, Oxford students only,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Maybe not this time. We'll have to Google that one.
Yeah.
Overrated place then that people do go to around campus?
Overrated place. You know what? Actually, no, the Bridge of Sighs. All the tourists think it's really cool. Look it up on Google. It's really not special. It's basically a bridge which has got some carpet floor. Looks all right, but it's not that special.
Fair. Okay, then where should we go to chill on campus?
I think if you want to chill, I'd recommend any of the four main kind of green spaces. So there's the Port Meadows, there's Uni Parks, there's Christchurch Meadows, and then there's South Parks. All really good, really relaxing, great ways to take a break if you're coming to visit or if you're a student here, I'd say.
Oh, that sounds so good. And what about food? Where should I go for that?
Oh, for food, there's a great place called Gloucester Green. It's like a market where you can get food from all over the world. Really cheap, well seasoned, nice flavours. Yeah, Gloucester Green's where it's at, I'd say.
Wow, it sounds like you were a representative of Gloucester Green.
Hey, if they want to pay me, I wouldn't say no.
Free promo. And do Oxford students then mix with students from other universities?
So I'd say it depends. So I'd say that personally I get to because of my church. So at church I get to meet a lot of Oxford Brook students, which is really nice. It's a great way of having kind of a real good community. I meet adults that are living in Oxford as well. It's just a great community experience.
Okay, nice. Wait, what's that building right on your right?
So this is the Sheldonian. So this is essentially like a theatre hall. There's concerts, there's operas, there's performances here. And I actually hosted a carol concert for the Christian Union here last December. It was a great experience.
Are you hosting it again this year?
Unfortunately not. I'll be abroad this year, but someone else will have that honour and it'll be a great experience, I'm sure.
That sounds amazing. Is your Christian Union then quite active at Oxford University?
Yeah, so we are quite active. We run quite a lot of different events. They're always open to everybody, and it's all about kind of allowing people to discuss faith. If they have any questions, really explore what we see the value of kind of Christianity being in our modern day society.
That's amazing. Okay. Then speaking about, people that maybe are not so into drinking, what is the Freshers Week like here for non-drinkers?
So I'd say the great thing is that there's actually quite a lot of provision. So because of the colleges, essentially what it means is that there's quite a lot of welfare provision at the university, which means that there's definitely events.
And speaking then of the Oxford bubble, have you ever seen a celebrity around campus? It is quite an attractive place here, I can't lie.
Yeah, so I'd say there's quite a few celebrities here actually. So I've met, I've seen Martin Keown, I didn't stop him, but any football fans there. But I guess a more general person is Timothy Chalamet, who was recording Willy Wonka here.
No
quite
way.
Famous, quite good, yeah.
Did you get any autographs?
I wish, no, there were whole crowds of people that came to flock to see him, but I didn't get one unfortunately.
I mean, it sounds like there's really something for everyone here.
There is, definitely.
Now, how would you say the student satisfaction at Oxford is?
Student satisfaction, oh, that's a bit of a sticky one. I'd say that there's a decent level of student satisfaction. I think because of the colleges, it's definitely higher than you'd think. But I'd also say it's probably low in the sense of the work rate really does get hard for a lot of people.
Right.
But that's the whole point of having the communities, the colleges. You can really support one another.
Can you tell us a bit about rustication?
Rustication. So essentially, rusticating is when you take a year out of your degree, whether that be because of health things, whether that be because the workload is too high for you at that moment. But it's something that's really not stigmatized here.
Okay.
I'd say it's really common, and there's no kind of judgment if you need to rusticate.
Nice. That's a really good provision in place, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, you know, when you're going through a bit of a tough time and you feel like you can't even go to class looking your best,
Yeah.
what is the culture here for rolling into class?
I'd say joggers and a hoodie always works really well. Of course, I'm looking a bit drippy today, but that's not how I'm normally looking in my lectures, I promise you. Yeah, anything relaxed is all good.
Sam, I told you to dress as if you were on a normal day, so you're telling us this is not a reflection of that?
Yeah, let me not lie, I wouldn't be dressing like this on a normal day, but you know, I had to show up for the video, I'd say.
No, we appreciate it so much. So is everyone out for yourselves at your uni then, or is there a supportive atmosphere?
I'd say there is actually quite a supportive atmosphere. Normally there's not much competition. Yes, the process to get in is quite competitive, but after that point, I'd say you actually do quite well in terms of having quite a kind of collegiate vibe. So it's really, really good. People support each other.
That's amazing. Now, as we're coming to an end, I want to know, are there any typical Oxford activities I must do before I go?
Well, if you haven't punted, which is essentially going on one of the canals/rivers in the city and going on one of the boats, it's really good. You should definitely do that later today.
Oh, yeah, I think we've got that in the itinerary, actually.
Great.
And what about bops? I've been hearing that word thrown around a lot.
Bops, huh? So they're essentially big organised parties, that's what it stands for. They're essentially kind of parties thrown by college, by your college. I'd say they're mixed bags. Some are really good, some are terrible. In general, I'd say that they tend to be terrible, but hey, that's my personal opinion.
So we won't see you at one?
You definitely won't, especially not in my 4th year. I think I'm too old for that by that point.
Okay, as we're finishing, give us a song that describes your uni experience.
Basically, any ABBA song or Mr. Brightside, because that's all that people seem to sing here, but it's alright, it is what it is.
So if I'm not mistaken, you have learned every single lyric to every ABBA song.
Unfortunately, I kind of do know a lot of the lyrics. If you see me singing them at our party, just look the other way. Don't. Yeah.
Lastly, how can people contact you, Sam, should they have further questions?
Well, in typical Oxford fashion, I'd probably say add me on LinkedIn, so yeah, why not?
Thank you, Sam, so much. Well, those are your 73 questions. I hope you have a great day.
You too. See you around.
Bye.